6 months ago, as some of you know, I did a 3-part series on the Fediverse, the decentralized social media platforms that could replace Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, run by random people all connecting together. Over the past 6 months, I've learned a bit more. Some disappointing, and some exciting and fun things about the Fediverse. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, link is in the show notes. First off, PeerTube. Great idea, but the implementation model doesn't really work. MASTODON, Friendica, and other social media sites work great because there is a limited amount of information they need. It's just words and pictures and links, so the bandwidth and storage space is doable. PeerTube, on the other hand, is nothing but video. Large, bulky files that need to be streamed. Finding an instance or hub that fit my need, especially in the US, was pretty much impossible. It requires a ton of dedication. Most of the good ones are foreign, mostly European, and most of them prefer if you're from that nation, and I don't want to force my way into there. The few American ones have limited uploads, or anything goes like YouTube version of Gab, including racist stuff, or so hyper anti-discrimination my atheism videos got blocked because nuance of attacking ideas versus bigotry against people doesn't exist. My last PeerTube account I had vanished and collapsed in on itself. It was just too hard to maintain. PeerTube requires a monetary system to maintain itself. I've seen people play around with using an ad browser or some Bitcoin method, but seriously, unless you have a lot of money to throw around or generous donors, forget it. I'm not even sure if you can change data caps so you can charge for more storage space the way MeWe makes revenue, but sadly, PeerTube as it is, for free, just isn't a sustainable model, and I'm pretty much done with it at the moment. My long-term goal would be to upgrade my computer and start a hub just for atheist YouTubers that does block fascists, as free speech can only work if both sides agree free speech should go both ways, and attacks on people, groups, sexualities, religious people, and so on. Poning an individual like Kent Hovind, perfectly fine. Not addressing bullying and harassment, not so much. Attacking all Christians or Muslims, nope. Attacking Christianity and Islam or other religious ideologies, very much so. Essentially, anyone who has done videos on atheism could upload there even if they don't do them much anymore, and you could upload your old videos getting new life and awareness out of them as they're now sitting unwatched. But I'd need like $100 a month for 6 months in Patreon subscribers to even consider such a task. And I think I'm just a little under $25 right now. And with COVID killing everyone's budgets, chances are that won't be happening anytime soon. So yeah, pipe dream for now, but it's a ways away. I may in the future decide to split up my channel into 2 or 3 different instances. My politics on the more lefty social justice channels, my atheism on, unfortunately, the free speech channels, and the science and skepticism on a more science and technology-based channel. Who knows? I'm still on and still use MeWe, though no, I won't friend you unless you know me in person, as I don't have a channel account, just a personal account. It's like going to Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram combined, and I scroll through it for dumb, happy art or cute animals to let my brain veg out. Maybe I'll start a channel page on it if enough people are interested. So I tried Diaspora multiple times. It sucked each time, though I think I found a pod that was actually good, and now I can't find which pod it was in. It's okay, but very insular in itself. Friendica seemed to be lacking, but it was mostly lacking in intuitive instructions. There's nothing on it that you can't do on Facebook so long as you don't plan on doing anything monetary. Getting there, however, is counterintuitive and has taken me a lot of digging to finally figure them out. As there are literally no tutorial videos about Friendica, I'm actually working on a 3-part series on how Friendica works and how to do things that are easy to do on Facebook on Friendica. Also, yeah, the name sounds lame, just as cheap and generic sounding as Friendster, but I think it started in Germany as Friendica with a K, and it probably sounds a lot cooler there to them. I feel like there should be a name change, but that's not for me to decide. Up until I wrote this post, I thought the only way to create a forum, their version of a group in Facebook, was to log out and create an entirely new account, which I did between my personal and channel accounts. Turns out, under Manage Accounts and Settings, you can create a new account tied to your current account using Register New Account, and then, once created, you can switch its account type and settings to forum. To the beginner, it feels very complicated and bulky, but over time, it should be much more intuitive. Once you know what you're doing, it's just as good as Facebook. But you never know if your node is going to collapse, and there is a lot of history that could be lost. Also, if that happens, or if you don't like a hub, you can only move essentially your personal data. Anything you posted ever gets erased, or you can't get to it anymore. This is a serious hindrance to anyone wanting to switch from Facebook. Going back to look at your past posts and milestones are a big feel-good perk about Facebook. Without that, it's hard to compete. It will probably require 4 different categories of transfers and download personal info, the account key, posts, photos, and photo posts with metadata, and videos and video posts with metadata. Download and upload all 4 files instead of losing everything except your key in a transfer, but then again, that's a core issue that will be difficult to fix and much more of a long-term issue. It will take years to get to that point, considering coders are doing this all for free and not getting paid. I had pretty much just walked away from the Fediverse until Zuck was being evil again recently, and I finally tried out Mastodon, and oh boy, that changed everything, including many of the problems I had with Friendica. Well, with the Friendica instance I'm currently using. I didn't bother with Mastodon because I'm not really a tweeter. I boost postings of my videos and say pithy sayings once every few weeks, and that's all. I didn't realize what I was missing. If you have the right instance, which is decided by the hosters, you can have Friendica act as a central hub with Twitter, Tumblr, and WordPress. If you post on one, Friendica will post them to all. Mine didn't have the right settings, so I had to have a companion Mastodon account. It fills in all the gap problems I have with Friendica, not mentioned above. So I learned just recently what Friendica is and how far it's come, and it's all the more impressive. Friendica is at its core using all the same protocols as Mastodon, even though Mastodon is 6 years younger, but the fastest growing of the bunch, but run through a special program, Friendica, with a ton of add-on features. I was thinking it was the opposite, that Friendica was a Facebook, but connected to the Fediverse. Nope, they built Friendica out of the same pre-Mastodon technology and continue to add on to it slowly, and I now better understand some of its limitations when it comes to comparing it to Facebook. That said, one of the downsides of the Fediverse is the moderators can be petty as hell. I've been using Mastodon and accidentally posted a Trump tweet I still don't have evidence wasn't made and deleted, and the guy in charge restricted my ability to see anything. It's the same reason I'm not on PeerTube. They said don't discriminate against anyone, and my atheism videos got the boot, no contact whatsoever, because they can't distinguish the difference between attacking people and attacking ideas. That said, if you're going to make multiple accounts at the same time, which is a red flag for people trying to spot trolls and bots that are going to be posting political information, as I created both a personal and a channel Mastodon account, I would recommend contacting the instance operator to let them know what's going on so they don't end up flagging you. Decentralizing social media is the future to prevent abuse and corporate control, especially if Jack Dorsey does what he's thinking about and decentralizes Twitter. But now you just have to keep jumping around or restarting new accounts if the node operator you're in doesn't like what you have to say and you get on their bad side without realizing it. Mastodon is pretty much Twitter. It has all the good things Twitter has from what I can tell. It's easy to run, has low data space, and there are apps and websites that allow you to cross-post with Twitter. Something Zuck blocked from Facebook and Instagram, but Jack Dorsey doesn't see Mastodon as a threat. If anything, he's actually considering using Mastodon protocol. It's so successful that Dorsey has openly said they're playing around with decentralizing Twitter. When you think about it, it's genius. Instead of taking all the liability and paying people to run the site, paying for server data, and paying for censorship, approval, and disapproval, Twitter can just modify an open source Mastodon software, make their own open source software like Google did taking Linux and creating Android, and just take care of the ad revenue and tech support. Anyone who wants to can run their own hub, interconnected with Mastodon and the Fediverse, and get a cut off the ad revenue. Twitter wouldn't be liable for censorship or lack thereof. Hub operators would get their advertising and ad revenue cut if too many other hubs block their hubs. And if enough people cut them, they could be disowned and set adrift into the Fediverse like Gab is. Ads are pretty much where Twitter makes all its money now, and this strategy will possibly increase their reach into creating their own ad-laced versions of PeerTube and Friendica, becoming a true rival with Facebook and YouTube instead of comparing apples to oranges now. I have a feeling that, just like how hubs have unique names, mine is toot.cat, Twitter hubs will have a Twitter.oneword, so it's easier to remember than Fediverse hubs. Or they'll have unique numbers that allow you to seamlessly and possibly not even know that you're getting transferred over to a different node if that node decides to go out of business. But what is really cool about Mastodon and Friendica is just how interconnected they are with the wider Fediverse, and just how many people are on it. This must be what Twitter was like when it started, something my partner was into, but I wasn't, so she learned all the nuances of it while I can't use it well. Mastodon and Friendica are great for me, because unlike with Twitter, I'm not overwhelmed by the massive flood of celebrities and posts I will never be able to get to read all of. I now go into the Fediverse feed looking for nobodies posting good stuff and follow them. Probably how you do it on Twitter now, but it was just too overwhelming to figure out. If you understand Twitter, Mastodon is a no-brainer, just not linked to Twitter and not making anyone money. Cross-Poster Mastodon is a site that will automatically cross-post anything you do on Twitter to Mastodon and vice versa. Link below. But Friendica has it set up in its core programming, so if you have both going, you can just post to one, and all three will automatically post. You can start a Twitter or Mastodon account and just straight up ignore it forever, and you'll get followers on both along with replies, though on occasion the site goes down for maintenance. With Mastodon, just like with Twitter, you have a limited number of words per toot. That's the pachyderm version of a tweet. That is not the case with Friendica. It's like making a Facebook post, you can just make it as long as you want. So you can blog on Friendica, then boost it on your Mastodon account, and people in the feed can read it in full. Also, a big headache about Friendica is fixed with Mastodon, because to post a picture to Friendica, it can only upload an actual file instead of copy-paste. That took so long I stopped caring. Too frustrating and mind-numbingly exhausting. But I can do the copy-pasting of photos in Mastodon or Twitter and then repost the toot from my page, and people can easily see the picture. I may not have to worry about losing photos or posts in my stream if I leave Friendica, or so I think. And there are apps that work well. An Android app called Friendica with a Q allows you to easily switch between accounts with zero effort. Tusky, among other apps, is a great app that works with just Mastodon, but is powerful and great when you're looking for new people to follow. And Status can combine everything from Twitter and any other Fediverse app, but it's bare bones and clunky still. Twitter sees the writing on the wall, decentralized is the future and the way to go, while Zuck is resisting change and not taking advantage of this at all, as far as we can tell, making all of this even harder to integrate with Facebook. But then Facebook really is the opposite of the setup to Fediverse. I hope MeWe goes in this direction too. His loss is our gain. I would love to see Facebook collapse because of these changes, but we'll see. The decentralized future is coming. Embrace it. It may take a few years to a decade to switch over, but it will happen, especially if Twitter decides to jump into the game. This channel is helped tremendously by the generous supporters on Patreon. A big thank you to the wonderful Joe Taylor, Elias Garcia Guevara, and Ogrel for their support at the $10 a month Wapawet level. Please consider donating to my work if you can, and thank you all for listening.